What's interesting about the whole debate over modern farming and especially pesticides is how little realism, how little real perspective on it reaches actual consumers. So for example, we get all caught up because we find a part per billion or two of a pesticide in our blood or on produce. The lot's been made that 1/4 of all organic fresh fruits and vegetables have pesticide residues. And they say, well, they're lower, they're less, they're half as much or 2/3 as much pesticide residues as you'll get on conventional, which is roughly true. But let's put it into perspective. So for example, one of the most contaminated products is apples, and the most commonly found pesticide at the highest levels is thiabendazole, a fungicide. We tested that in multiple animal species and found no chronic problems, no birth defects, no cancer. So we tested it on humans at a very high level with daily doses and no problems. And the typical residue found on an apple, which is in the dirty dozen and the environmental group wants you to worry about it, is a couple of milligrams, which is 1/500th of the dose that was given to humans, that no effects whatsoever were seen at all. So if you want to get worried about 1/500th of a daily, lifetime, no effect dose, you can. But the real risks, there are far greater risks in life we need to worry about, and in food the biggest is the E. coli, the salmonella, and the other bacteria that can actually kill you. And the evidence indicates that organic is at least as contaminated with these bacteria, if not more so. So the real limiting factor for organic production is nitrogen fertilizer, but that's also where the pathogens, the E. coli and the salmonella, come from. So because they're not willing to use a fertilizer that was invented over 100 years and is proven to be perfectly sustainable, and it could be manufactured, we use natural gas, but you could manufacture it with hippies riding bicycles or solar power or wind power, because the nitrogen comes from the air we breathe. They refuse to use that safe and sustainable source and rely only on manure, which is the reservoir of the pathogens that still kill more Americans than all pesticide residues combined over 50 years. And that's what's so frustrating, is that consumers, because of the organic activism, are worried about something which is essentially so much of a non-problem, it's arguable whether anyone's ever died of a pesticide or even gotten sick from a pesticide residue. And yet they're ignoring the probably greater dangers of the things that actually still kill us in large numbers. So to sum it up, organic people make a big deal out of how their produce has 1/3 or 1/4 of the pesticide residues found on conventional produce. And that's true, but it's like arguing over a nickel versus a penny. One is 5 times more than the other, but neither one is going to make you rich. Neither one amounts to a hill of beans.